As we know, the black myth Wukong was back to the top one of the game of year on IGN, so what exactly happened between Wukong and IGN? This video will explain all the drama between these two. So basically, because IGN started voting for Game of the Year, but after a few hours, people found out the rate of blacksmith Wukong suddenly changed at 5 a.m. in the morning as pointed out here. People believe that IGN is rigging this poll because they are so mad about Black Myth Wukong's success and the fact that people were voting for it as Game of the Year through this poll. You can see some very disturbing things here. See that the percents that Black Myth Wukong was getting dropped by about 16% at 5 in the morning. Throughout this hour, Black Myth Wukong went from a 90% rating to 85%. To 84% to 74%, they dropped 16% in 1 hour. Compare that to the other people, or the other games in this poll like Final Fantasy, where they remained at 71.5%, went down to 71.4%, then remained at 71.4% and then concluded at 71.3%. Hey dropped 0.2% over that hour, but Black Myth Wukong dropped by 16%. So 5 a.m., not a lot of people are voting on a poll. However, even though the numbers change when everybody sleep, but on the other side of plentant Chinese are so awake they find out this change immediately. IGN also wrote an article to reply to people's questions. According to the article, the reason why the Wukong's rate change because of so, while the hot new thing might get a lot of wins shortly after it comes out, after the honeymoon period expires and people move on to other games, its ranking might fall if it's more of a flash in the pan than something that sticks with you for a long time, as truly great games do. We saw a massive influx of traffic from Chinese and other Asian sources to that page. And over the weekend, Black Myth's win percentage went from a very respectable showing in the 60s all the way up to an absolutely astronomical 90.4%. Blowing past Rebirth's relatively meager 72%. We never saw that coming, and what had been a relatively stable list was upended so quickly. Our scheduled social media repromotion of a playlist built to reflect the top games, as they had been, he was caught flat-footed and caused major confusion because it hadn't been updated yet. Our goal is for face-offs to be fun, and by golly, people were having an absolute blast with it. Some were even live streaming as they refreshed the page to see how high Black Myth could go. For the record, we don't consider it cheating at all for fan communities to champion their game and support it by voting, and it's actually encouraged for people to run through multiple times. And they show off a chart to explain this, just a misunderstanding. The fact that Black Myth's vote totals so quickly surpassed that of games that had been accruing votes for months before it was added to the list of games strongly suggests that someone exploited the system to allow them to vote only on one specific game, something the randomization of matches is intended to prevent. So in my opinion, Black Myth Wukong won this poll. What's your opinion? Do you think that IGN was cheating? Let us discuss this. Left comment below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe me so you won't miss any update about
花风流800里，曾是关外富饶地。